Brink of Destruction writes in and says, with how many problems the Xbox Series S is giving Microsoft, do you think that Microsoft will change their strategy for the next generation and only release a single high-end console rather than a high-end console and a more mid-range to low-end console? Or do you think that they would choose to forgo the less powerful console in favor of a rumored handheld for the next generation? Yeah, and I think we should remove rumors from this and just go to opinion. What do you think they should do? Because it does seem like they're launching another generation in a couple of years. What do you think they should do?
I really don't know what a good Xbox looks like anymore, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm trying to think, like, okay, I guess I would default to a more Series S style thing because that's the one that's selling, but the Series S is clearly causing issues, so I don't know if that's a misguided thought. I mean, so maybe the best would be a Series S that isn't as shitty as the Series S for the time, if that makes sense. So a Series S that doesn't have any of the stupid deficiencies that the Series S has. Like, it has unified memory. It has
enough.
In the future, I don't know, 16 gigs of memory? Like,
I mean, I think for next gen, you're going to want at least 24.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I would need to think about it more. But, and then, I don't know. I don't think they have the demand for, or there's any market desire for a $500 Series X follow-up. So I think they kind of have to go for something either in between the Series S and the Series X, or something more similar to the Series S, if they have any hopes of selling anything.
Yeah, I think there's two distinct directions they can go in. And I think either could work out. I think the first one's easier. And that first option is, it's a PC. Like, we're going to make an APU. It can boot into a SteamOS-like mode that has backwards compatibility with every past Xbox console. But then, also just has this new generation. And maybe because it also can dual boot into full Windows 11 or Windows 12, whatever it is, you can, you'll charge more, but not $1,000. Like, maybe you'll charge $700. And it's like, no, this is kind of a high-end PC that actually works really well as an editing desktop, and you can use for work and play. And that's why we're charging $700, because it comes with a full Windows license, and you can put Word on it, and can do all this other stuff, and it's powerful. That's why we're charging more. I think there's that direction you go in, which is the easier one from a longevity, because it's like you're kind of just selling PCs now. There's less of a thought about it as a platform and how you successfully make that platform work. But the other direction they would go in, and this one, you'd have to time it perfectly, but it is kind of like you say. I think they need to be cheaper than PlayStation. When were they successful? Easy. When the Xbox 360 was cheaper than the PS3.
True.
Now that they've never really done that since then. I know someone's going to say the Pro costs more, but yeah, well, it's also significantly better and not the base console. And I think they need to try to do this thing where it's just almost as good, or if they can do it, I don't know, as good as the PS6. It comes out first or at the same time, and it's more cost competitive. And so, no, not a $350 bucket of shit, 10 gigabyte, can't run games device, but also not trying to cost the exact same and push for the highest teraflops. Like something where it is, which I thought was the point of the Series S, to be indistinguishable from next gen for more casual people, but that's just not the case. It's just, they did not live up to this idea that it's a 1440p 60 console. It's not.
No.
It just isn't. It isn't even close to that. It's not even really a 1080p 30 console, if you ask me, when you look at how hard what's going on with some of these recent games.
It might have been for a year.
Yeah.
Or something.
But I think what you would want, the challenge would be this, though. I do think they would still get destroyed by Sony if they launched a $400 box at the same time as the PS6 that felt half the performance. I think what makes you win is if you can launch a $400 box, or maybe $450. I don't know. Obviously, something's going on here where both of the companies are like, "Can we charge more than $500, please?" But let's assume Sony's going to make the PS6 $700 or $600. That's my guess, by the way. Let's see. Let's call it $600. If Microsoft could get out a $450 box a year before the PS6, and it was notably stronger than the Pro with exclusives, this is a 360 type of situation where launch a 24 gigabyte console a year after the Pro, if you can, or 2 years, whenever they can do it. That is, 24 gigabytes of RAM, still has 2 terabytes, and 500 or 450, you undercut what Sony has now. Make it stronger, make it something like 50, even just 50% stronger. So it feels like you're kind of getting next gen for current gen pricing. And that is how you can undercut them. But the only way that works is if it's timed perfectly, it beats the Pro while feeling next gen. And they need exclusives. I'm sorry. They need exclusives, and they need to keep releasing exclusives every year.
Yeah, I mean, the next thought I have is less, like you already brought it up, is less about hardware, and it's more, they need to start showing what those 34, however many studios they own are doing, because it really feels like a lot of them aren't doing much. Like, I think that the brand, the Xbox brand, is going to be in free fall until they can actually get their studios in order. Like that's what I think is truly lacking with Xbox.
You've got to go out and make sure they're working on the games in a timely fashion. And if they did that, I think they'd be successful, don't you? Like if Sony has some $700 PS6, I'm sure it'll be super strong. But if Microsoft could launch a year before it with something that feels like it crushes the Pro in performance, that has just enough next-gen, whatever AI features to have smarter, communication between you and the game. I mean, beat them to market, beat them in price, be just strong enough. I actually don't think the battle for next gen is going to be that important over resolution. Could be wrong. I don't know if people will care. I think it's the perfect time for them to do this because we have kind of a saturating of perceived performance here. That's what I think would work the best. I'd say either they need to do that or they just need to sell PCs because that's what they should have been doing the whole time.
Or they need to retire Xbox as a hardware thing and just say Xbox is a brand now. Because I mean, I feel like that's where they've been going for a while. And but yeah, like you said, I don't know, maybe, I mean, Microsoft has toyed with this in the past with like the Surface. Like Microsoft just sells their own PC. Like they could just say, this is our Xbox PC or whatever. And I mean, I don't know. I think that might be more convincing to a person like me, even where if, I don't know, they just sold a minimum standard PC that for like all of the performance that you wanted. That
like 24 or 32 gigabytes of unified memory. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't know if I would ever buy it, but I would definitely recommend it to people.
To a lot of my friends who want to game on PC but don't want to mess with building a PC. Boom. And I think it could be beneficial to gaming on PC as well, because you could have devs go, no, this is the minimum. This is the minimum now. We're not supporting your freaking 1065 gigabyte you bought from Hong Kong or like, no, we're done. This is the minimum. It's wildly faster than the overpriced mid-range cards NVIDIA's been shoveling. And if you have those, you're going to be gaming in 1080p instead of 1440p or 4K. It's fine. But I think it could be beneficial in that way as well. And kind of a way the Steam Deck is almost becoming that of like, look, if your integrated graphics aren't as good as the Steam Deck, this is now our minimum pretty much. This piece of content is proudly sponsored by Odoo. Odoo is a one-stop shop for managing basically all of the annoying parts of your business. They have apps for accounting, sales, website building, and much more. Like, for example, if I wanted to make a new blog for Moore's Law is Dead, it is very easy to do with Odoo. You just start with a few prompts, choose a style, confirm what you'll use the site for, and then boom, it just throws several options together in front of you and you go, yeah, I like that one, and then you are off. Just like that, I had a blog where I could talk about decisions being made by Pat at Intel. And if I want to add images, they have a whole roster of easily searchable images that you can pull from to put on your website. And they even have something called Copywriter AI, where they will take what you've typed and hone it and make the wording more persuasive if that's what you want, saving you effort sprucing up your stuff. And you know what? That was free. That's right. Your first app is free for life with unlimited hosting for that website, free support, and the domain you choose is also free for a year. And with that same email address, you can create multiple databases, meaning multiple individual websites that don't need to be connected to each other as well. So if you're interested in checking out Odoo, follow the directions and the links below to get the best deal on it. And remember, that first app you use is free, and clicking on that link below, just doing even that, helps the channel a ton. So support Moore's Law is Dead by checking out Odoo today.